and here we go. So please close your eyes and keep them closed until I tell you to open them. Take a deep breath. And as you inhale, let your stomach expand. Then as you exhale, let it fall. This is the proof of life, the breath. The breath guides the mind, body, and soul. It creates energy, flow, and vitality. As long as we breathe, we are alive. Please continue to keep your eyes closed. Imagine you are 17 years old. You just came out of a 9.5-hour surgery and are in the ICU. You are barely conscious, hardly aware of your surroundings. You try to open your eyes, but you can't. Your eyes burn and cannot be exposed to light. You will later find that your eyes were not sealed properly during surgery and have double corneal abrasions. You are newly blind. In this dark world, you cannot isolate your body's pain. Your body screams in agony. You can't identify the source of the pain. The pain is too massive, and it completely takes over you. Your veins burn. The potassium in the IV was not cut with enough saline. Your body is one big hive, allergic to the pain medication which continues to run through your veins and swells up your body. You try to find the nurse button, but you are blind. Your vitals machine starts ringing. In darkness and in pain, you are alone. You are dying. Your body is physically incapable of motion, yet you find yourself moving into a fetal position, ready to complete the circle of life and ready to return to your position from birth. You do not have enough oxygen to scream, to ask for help. You lack the needed oxygen to even speak. You are dying. Open your eyes. This was my November 11, 2011. This was my reality. Though my body was ready to let go, my mind was not. I kept mentally repeating, "It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, you're going to make it, I promise." These 15 seconds of repetition seemed to be longer than my entire 17 years of life. I refused to give in, I refused to give up. I needed to use every last ounce of my energy, my strength, and my brain power to keep repeating this to myself, to let myself know that I was alive and capable of pulling through. My only remaining sense was my hearing, and with every millisecond, the sound of my ringing vitals machine became more and more faint, more and more muffled. This was the brink between life and death, between breath and suffocation. This 15-second fulcrum would define the rest of my entire life. This moment was it, and I knew it. I was at the front line, alone, incapable of motion, solely armed with mindset. I used this mindset to choose life. I chose to live, I chose to breathe, and to go through whatever mental and physical pain I would endure because I knew that there was more to this physical life, more to this one special world. Suddenly my vitals went up and my body miraculously turned over. My mind, body, and soul reconnected. These words, these resilient positive words, had saved me. Doctors, medications, surgeries, clinics, and nurses had all failed, but my weapon, my mind, had saved me. In order to win the battle for life, every survivor must be strong and positive. There are no exceptions. People question how one can be so positive when fighting for life. The answer is choice. If you choose to live, you choose to fight, and you choose to be positive. It's almost like an unspoken arrangement you make with the universe. I am ready to fight, and my two weapons are strength and positivity. You need to give every ounce of strength and positivity you have. Every muscle of your mind, body, and heart are put to the test. It's a physical, mental, and spiritual game. It's a life switch, a fulcrum between what is and what will be. No one will understand the positivity behind a fighter until they are on the battlefield. Even those with the greatest strength and positivity still may not survive. We all die. However, it's worth the fight. My fight started before the aforementioned surgery. My fight began at the age of 15. I was in high school and people were completely unaware of my battle. They saw that I was very thin and may have thought that I had an eating disorder. I can picture myself turning opposite the scale at doctors' offices, for I could no longer swallow, seeing the diminishing number of my massless body. I can mask my body from others with oversized clothes, however, I couldn't hide it from myself. I still remember buying body wash because I couldn't stand the feeling of rubbing a bar of soap against my bony frame. I would just squeeze the body wash from above and let it fall and cleanse without rubbing my hands against my skeleton. My peers thought that I was thin. My peers saw that I wore a brace on my leg. They knew that I was always busy and thought I was just with friends or doing a million activities. What they did not know was this: my body was eating itself. I was emaciated because my large intestine was dying, my metabolic functions were slowing, and my nutrients were not being absorbed. I was weak because I was dehydrated. My hair was falling out, my nails were falling off, and my brain wasn't being properly oxygenated. I was absent because I was at doctors in New York City, New Jersey, and more, applying to clinics in other states, considering other countries. I was rejected from the top Mayo Clinic and the Cleveland Clinic because no doctor knew what was happening. I wore a brace because I suddenly woke up paralyzed. I lost complete control from below my knee on the right side of my body. My brace stabilized my foot and allowed me to walk with an exaggerated gait. My peers thought that I was injured, probably from my figure skating career, not that I was paralyzed, and not that doctors were scanning up and down my body for a spinal tumor. They didn't know that it looked as though I either had cancer, MS, MD, or another fatal degenerative nerve disorder. They did not know that I feared amputation. These health issues became worse and worse throughout my high school experience. I vividly remember people stressing over the SATs, and I was stressing over my fight to live. I kept this secret. I chose not to be in relationships with boys I liked. I chose not to tell my best friends. I chose to live a duality, a front that was also killing me. When I got to college, things changed. I went to the least expensive school I was offered, knowing I would most likely be pulled out. Due to my health, I've been to 5 different schools, pulled out of multiple semesters, with limited coursework in others. I started at Tulane University in fall 2011. The dehydration got worse. However, I didn't tell my roommate nor my parents. Instead, I took an accidental fall that injured my ribs that forced me to disclose my sickness. Due to the ribs, Tulane had sent me home on a 4-week medical leave. It was only then that I could no longer hide. I remember looking my parents in the eyes, 30 pounds less than I am today, hair falling out in chunks, skin pale despite the New Orleans sun, nails gone. I cried, for I could no longer hide my fatal condition in smiles and clothes and secrets. It was time to be open. I was 17 and my whole large intestine had died. I needed emergency organ removal. The intestine blocked food and water from being absorbed. I would die of dehydration if it weren't removed. However, doctors feared I may also die on the table if it were removed. The operation was my only hope for survival. I found a surgeon and had the surgery, which I described at the beginning of this speech. The surgery was just the beginning. My battle got much harder. I had the organ removal in November and came to Binghamton that January. Spring 2012, my first semester here. 3 months after I had my organ removed, I felt extremely weak. I couldn't lift my head from the pillow because it was too heavy, and the blanket felt as though it were 10,000 pounds of bricks pushing against my body. I thought this was normal, for I had just had major surgery. However, my intuition told me I needed to ask for help. This was the first time I didn't question reaching out. I used my left hand to grab my cell phone from the window ledge beside my bed. This in and of itself was exceptionally challenging. I found the strength to call my friend and had asked if she could please take me to the doctor after class for a checkup. She heard my voice, knew my reluctancy to ask for help, and skipped class to take me to the doctor. Brianna Merrill, you saved my life. I had blood work done, and then Bree took me back to campus to rest. The blood test would be done within 3 hours. The blood test showed that my brain, heart, and lungs were getting less than the 50% of oxygen needed to survive. I needed emergency blood transfusions. I lived in a medical single at the time and was alone and passed out in my bedroom. I started my nap at 11 a.m. and awoke at 10 p.m. to 180 calls, texts, emails, and voicemails. My dad was on his way up, and I was being rushed to the ICU. I needed the transfusions immediately, or I would die in a matter of hours. If it weren't for Brianna, I would not be here today. If it weren't for that phone call, I would not be here today. I finally learned to ask for help. This scare was followed by 2.5 years of unlocalized internal bleeding, metabolic shutdown, mitochondrial issues, memory loss, cognitive fatigue, possible blood cancer, and tons of moving. Doctors, surgeries, and medications were futile. I needed to try alternatives. I went to an alternative cancer treatment clinic in Florida, which also failed. So I began to take things into my own hands. I became Dr. Dan. I became a gluten-free vegan, tried Ayurveda, Reiki, acupuncture, chi organ massage, wheatgrass shots, energy work, everything. I spent countless hours researching. I would not stop. I would heal. I would not eat a morsel of food that did not fight disease. I ate green, clean energy. I nourished my body. I began to practice yoga and meditation. I mentally exercised regularly and physically exercised when my state permitted. I did everything mindfully, with purpose. And in the end, food and mindset kept me alive and allowed me to have my last successful surgery 2 summers ago. I saved my own life. 2 major components of my healing were mindset and food. However, there are more. First and foremost, I had One Special World. Throughout my entire health battle, I strive to spread One Special World. My brother Jonathan is my world. He is the impetus behind my fire and the reason I am here today. One Special World proved that miracles happen. After countless attempts in 2009, One Special World finally became a club at my high school. We were given a trial run with 0 funding. Our initial goal was to raise $20,000 for Fragile X syndrome. Both my brother Johnny and cousin Jamie have Fragile X. Even though $20,000 seemed to be a wild goal for a little 14-year-old girl with a high-pitched voice, higher than it is today, people didn't realize that I wasn't alone. As I said before, I had a world with me. Together, within 2 years, our entire One World team was able to raise $40,000 for Fragile X research. This miracle gave me hope. This is the very miracle that proved that I had the backing to directly impact my brother's world, to build a future group home for him and others to make One Special World a national organization. So at the peak of my internal bleed and brink of my physical life, when doctors, surgeries, and a possible higher power didn't seem to be on my side, I began the process of 501c3 nonprofit status for One Special World. I would fight for this cause until the day I died. I'm here because of One Special World. My work is not done, and I want people to realize that my work is our work. We are One Special World. We are all human. We all have needs that are unique and special to ourselves, needs that make us individuals. We all have special needs. Bless. One Special World is more than a home, more than an organization. It's a movement. It's a magic that brings out the best in everyone. My brother is an angel on earth. This movement is his light. May One Special World open people's eyes and expand people's hearts. But before I conclude, here are a few more lessons I learned. First, humor is always needed. I laugh a lot. And for those of you who do not know me, I'm very cheesy and dairy-free, and I love to laugh. Throughout my fight, I had a lot of alone time, a lot of time to think, and sometimes my mind would wander and tears would stream down my eyes, and then other times I would look in the mirror and try to put myself together and say, doctors may think I'm going to die, but wait, no, gotta build a home. So here we are. I know this is cheesy, but I promise cheesiness is strategy. These sayings come from truth. They come from people who have experienced difficulties and made it through. I attribute a majority of my happiness to the ability to laugh in pain and upset. I also learned to turn to people, to show my weaknesses, and to get the help I need. I learned to be open. A quality I thought was too expressive actually was the very expression that saved my life. Vulnerability is beautiful and needed. If we think about the people we love the most and who love us the most, it's the people who know us, who know more than the simple exterior. It's the ones who know our strengths and weaknesses. It's the very people who see us at our lows and thus can celebrate our highs, knowing how far we have come. My advice to you is this. First, recognize you are strong, stronger than you may ever know. Second, every life cliche is real. In fact, every cliche holds great wisdom. Third, everyone has needs. Most of these needs are invisible. Everyone we know is fighting a battle we know nothing about. Fourth, take care of your mind, your body, and your soul. Love and accept your exterior and learn to concentrate on your interior. Love your body for all it can do. Our physical bodies are superficial. They are just the vessels, the vehicles that allow us to do what we need to do and to find our purpose. Anyone who solely appreciates you for your physical appearance is blind to the depth of who you actually are. Lead with more than your body. Lead with more than your appearance. Lead with your love, your light, and your soul. Be vulnerable. We are human. We are meant to cry, to laugh, to smile, to be expressive and emotional. Vulnerability renders meaningful relationships. Ask for help. Show your weaknesses. We are meant to connect and create bonds. Sometimes we need to depend on others. That is a reality and not a weakness. Surround yourself with people who know who you really are, people who see your soul, people who you can be 100% comfortable with, who are genuine, who make you smile, laugh, and feel good on the inside. One day we will see a majority of our experiences are dependent upon whom we are with rather than what we are doing. Appreciate yourself and others. Value this time. Please take a moment. Turn to the person next to you and look at each other. Be friendly, say hello, maybe give a smile. All right. Now look around the entire room and recognize that every single person here is fighting for life. Every day, every second, everywhere. We all are. I'm now 23 and the healthiest I've been since I was 14. 1/3 of my life has been dedicated to this battle, but the remainder of my life is dedicated to putting this battle to use, to making it worth it. All the pain, the fear, the stress, the finances would not be worth it if I did not live and appreciate this one special world. I am unbelievably blessed to say that I am a survivor. I am here to witness people doing extraordinary things in the name of One Special World. As One Special World Prize, the strongest force is the power of togetherness, and together we will build this home. Thank you very much.